Hello, hello, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Anthony.
And we are AB Adventures.
Today we're going to be talking about rope dropping. Maybe you've heard of it before and don't know what it means. Maybe you are an expert at it. But we want to talk about the best ways to rope drop in the parks.
So, stick around.
Alright guys, welcome back. So let's talk about rope drop. You've probably heard us talk about it before. What we're referring to is that it's basically the concept of getting to the park right when it opens, close to the front of the line, so that you can get to a ride as soon as people can start boarding, basically.
The reason it's called rope drop is because when the park is opening, they actually will hold you at certain points through the park before you can have free range of the park, and they'll usually have literally a rope in front of you, and then when park opens, they drop the rope and you can go through. So that's why it's called that, and that's why we would say something like, are you doing rope drop, or are you planning for a rope drop? That's what that means. So we want to talk about the strategies with that.
And normally what you would do is you would take this concept and you would try to make it work the best you can with fast passes. You would combine those two concepts just to get the most out of your day. Right now during the pandemic, so if the pandemic is over, congratulations, you made it through, skip this part. But because of the pandemic, there are no fast passes, so it's extra important if you're trying to get some of those top ticket rides in. It's going to be important to get in there and rope drop.
And a lot of people are recognizing that too, so it kind of is changing the way that you might plan before. So if you've never done rope drop before, definitely watch this video. If you have done rope drop before, some of those things might change, and so this time is going to be extra important for you. We want to talk about some of the things that we do, and typically what you want to do is you want to get there at least an hour and a half before the actual park opens, so you can get to the front of that crowd that is waiting at the rope. And this is strategy. Like if you want a luxury, laid back vacation, everything, this might not work best for you. But if you want to be able to ride those rides and do the things, you're gonna want to be at the front of the line. So that's an hour and a half before you definitely want to be doing that.
And usually what this technique works best for is the newest attractions. Once again, if fast passes are open, if you're able to get fast passes, you'll book those first, and then based on that you'll choose, okay, what do we want to do for rope drop?
Right. So let's say that you're in Hollywood Studios. What would be the rides that would be high ticket that would want a fast pass? Like what would people want?
So Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, definitely. Toy Story, Slinky Dog Dash, is a big one.
Huge one.
Yep.
So with those in mind, when you're going to Hollywood Studios, now that there's not fast passes during the pandemic, and if there are right now, then fantastic, but if there aren't, then those kinds of things, this is what you're rope dropping for. You want to get those. But then also within Hollywood Studios is Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. So you notice we didn't mention Galaxy's Edge in our example. The reason is because that is kind of an exception case. I think it's the only ride that they're doing this right now in the parks, the only attraction. But what happens is when you get to Hollywood Studios in the morning, once you've checked in at the front gate, you'll have the option to book a boarding pass.
So it's in your app on your phone. You can also go up to cast members too and ask them if you're having some trouble with it.
Once you go into the app and you join a boarding group, they're going to send you a notification later in the day when it's time for you to come back. And then you'll get in line at that time. So I think that's the only ride they're doing it for right now. But
they could change that in the future, because that has seemed to have gone well. And a lot of other parks, I know Universal has done, the other place has done stuff with virtual queues. So that could change in the future, especially if people don't want to be waiting in lines, especially after the pandemic. If people don't want to be waiting close to each other, that could change. So keep an eye out for that, but that factors into that rope drop. What can you be standing in line for? What can you do on your app? What can you, just be strategic with that. But it all goes into how can you use those early morning hours when less people are there because people don't like to get up early. So how can you utilize that?
So to recap, book the fast passes ahead of time if you can, which we have great videos on how to do that and how to do all that.
also
if you can. Choose which ride is your family's priority, after that. And then remember the Rise of the Resistance exception case. And if they add any more in the future, just that as well.
Yeah. And all of this is just to give you more peace of mind. Don't stress about it. Like we told you the details, and this is what people do, and you don't need to stress about it. So don't run. Disney doesn't want you to run. But this will help you kind of get ahead of the crowd and get on those rides that you want to do, so that the rest of your day goes really well.
And some examples, so we talked about Hollywood Studios and what rides you might do there. Some examples in other parks. In Magic Kingdom, Peter Pan's flight always fills up really fast. So Fantasyland is a good place to go rope drop because you can usually get in and out of a ride really fast, and then you can go do another one. You can double it up.
Yep.
Space Mountain fills up pretty fast usually. Splash Mountain on the other side of the park.
Yep.
So, there's a few different ways you can go depending on how you want to structure your day. In Epcot, what would you say for Epcot?
It's a choice on what your family likes, because the high ones are Frozen Ever After, Test Track, and Soarin'.
Right.
And now Remy's is going to be opening soon, and Guardians of the Galaxy could be coming a little bit more down the line, but that too. So those will definitely be big ones.
And then in Animal Kingdom, definitely Flight of Passage. I mean, no questions there. We got to the park probably 2 hours before they opened, and I counted the time.
No, it was an hour and a half. I remember.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half.
I counted the time that we were actually standing in line, not moving through the queue. But it came out to, I believe, 17 or 18 seconds.
Yeah, it wasn't very long at all.
It was. We were right up at the front, one of the first groups to board. So it is possible. So yeah, definitely that.
Yep. That Mount Everest is a good one too. There, and then you can go rope drop dinosaur too. You can do what's another good one? Cali River Rapids is a good one. The safari. So all those different ones is just strategy.
All of those are generally pretty light. So if you are lucky enough to have a fast pass for Flight of Passage, then it's really just how do you want your day to go.
So that's all we got for you guys, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video below. If you leave a comment and let us know what your rope drop strategies are.
Go like our Facebook page, AV Adventures on Facebook, because we do lives once a month, our Disney Nights In. It's a chance to win prizes. We've got some trivia, finish the lyrics sometimes, or we might do a name that movie, like a movie quote. So, so
those are our plans coming up. So yeah, join us over there. You can like the page, and then you'll get notified when things happen. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the flip flop.
So long.